Welcome back to the PLO vlog. I'm Wayne. Thanks again for the recommendations. We are in for our now usual $400. Let's get into it. Alright, so we get things started here with Ace, Queen, Jack 8, single suited to the ace in middle position. There's one limper. I make it 25, only the button and the limper call, so we're going three ways to a flop. Flop comes 8, 7, 4 with two spades. When it checks to me, I decide to check as well. Not going to be the best board for me to continue. Better for their calling ranges. So I check and late position player checks. So still three ways to a turn. Turn brings a king of spades. When it checks to me, I check. Late position player bets 80. The limper folds and I fold as well. He takes it down. Here I look down at ace 10, 5, 5, double suited on the button. Folds to me, I open to 15 and only small blind calls. So we're going heads up to a flop. Flop comes 8, 8 deuce, rainbow. He checks, I see bet 20 and we take it down. So here I look down at king, king, queen 2, double suited under the gun. I open a 20, folds all the way back to the small blind. He calls and the big blind calls. So three ways to a flop. Flop comes 10, 8, 4, rainbow. When it checks to the big blind, he leads 60. And back to me, I decide to fold. There's not going to be that many great turn cards. I mean, I do have one backdoor flush. And, I do have a couple kings to hit. But really besides a king or a jack, not going to be many great turn cards for me. Even if I'm up against like a 10 with like a 9-7, that hand's going to be in pretty good shape against me. So I fold and the other player folds as well. So he takes it down. Here I look down at ace 10, 9-7, single suited to the ace in the hijack. There's two limpers to me. I open a 30 and we get a call from the button and one of the limpers. So three ways to a flop. Flop comes queen 7, 4, rainbow. When it checks to me, I lead for 45 and the button folds, then back to the limper. He tanks for quite a while and then ends up pushing for 180. And I didn't really realize that he had such a short stack when I bet. So kind of awkward, only 135 more. So I ended up calling and I don't know if it was the best play. I just felt like it was such a small amount that I had to call. So heads up to a run out. Turn brings a 9 of hearts. So obviously a pretty good card for us, giving us two pair plus a flush draw. River brings a 4 of hearts and I turn over my hand and he shows me queen, jack, jack 10. So he was ahead on the flop, but I ended up making the call and we get there. So we take down a pretty good size pot. Here I look down at ace, ace, 6, 2, double suited in middle position. I open a 20 and we get two callers. So we're going three ways to a flop. Flop comes ace, king, 10 with two hearts. When it checks to me, I bet 45 and everyone folds. So we take it down. Here I look down at king, 10, 6, 5, single suited to the king in the small blind in a straddled pot. There's three limpers. I go ahead and complete the straddle. Big blind does as well. And the straddler checks. So we're going six ways to a flop. Flop comes king, 6, 2, rainbow. I lead 30 and only one of the late position players calls. So we're going heads up to a turn. Turn brings an ace. I decide to check. He tanks for a little bit, but also decides to check. So heads up to a river. River brings a 7. I decide to check and he quickly checks back as well. I show my hand. He shows me a king and we're good. So maybe missed a little bit of value, but ace on the turn is probably going to prevent me from getting any more value from his pair of kings. So happy to take it down. Here I look down at ace, ace, 4, 4, single suited to the ace on the button. There's a couple limpers to me. I make it 30 and both limpers call. So we're going three ways to a flop. Flop comes king, 10, 5, rainbow. When it checks to me, I thought a little bit here about betting, but this is going to be a better flop for their limp calling range. So I decided to check back. So still three ways to a turn. Turn brings a king of hearts, giving me the backdoor flush draw. When it checks to me, same thing as the previous street. I thought about betting, but decided to check, play a little slower. So three ways still to a river. River brings a 10, and one of the limpers decides to pot it for $100. And I thought here for a sec, but can't really beat too much. And there's also a player behind me to act still. So I folded, he folded as well. And the player shows pocket kings. So I guess, I saved some money there by not betting the turn. And he takes it down. After that aces and fours hand, we go a while without really getting much and just kind of get whittled down a bit. So here I look down at ace, ace, king, king, rainbow in the small blind. There's one late position limper. Folds to me, I make it 20. He 3-bets to 70. I take a sec and 4-bet to 230. and then he 5-bet shoves, and I call, of course, and we're going heads up to a run out. So before the dealer turns over the flop, he turns over his hand. He has ace, ace, king, jack with the ace, jack of clubs. So pretty crazy hand here, almost identical, and we're going to a run out. Flop comes king, 10, 9, rainbow. So we hit our one outer. Looks like we're going to take this down, but turn brings a 4 of clubs, so we're not out of the woods yet. And unfortunately, the river gives him his flush, but it's a 10 of clubs, so we fill up and we take it down. So after that hand completed, everybody was trying to figure out what percentage of the time me and him were going to chop. So I'll pose the question to you guys. Ace, ace, king, king, rainbow versus ace, ace, king, jack, single suited clubs. What are the odds that we are going to chop? I'll give you guys the answer later. So a couple hands later, I looked down at ace, 9, 9, 7, double suited in the hijack. There's an early position open at 20, middle position caller, I call, and both the blinds call. So we're going 5 ways to a flop. Flop comes king, 8, 5 with 2 hearts. When it checks to me, I bet 60. One of the blinds calls, middle position player calls, and then the late position player pushes for 240 back to me. So here I'm just contemplating whether I should call or 3-bet jam to isolate the short stack player. And I decided to do just that. So I go ahead and push, and both players fold. So we're going heads up against the all-in player to a run out. Turn brings a 10, so giving us some additional equity here. River brings a 5, so unfortunately we cannot improve, and the player turns over his hand. King, king, 6, 5 for the boat. So unfortunately he's going to take it down. So here I look down at queen, queen, 5, 4, single suited to the queen on the button. There's one middle position limper, I limp. Small blind makes it 20, big blind calls, limper calls, and we call. So we're going 4 ways to a flop. Flop comes ace, 7, 3, rainbow. When it checks to me, I do have a double gutter, but I decided to take a free card, so still 4 ways to a turn. Turn brings a king of spades, giving me the backdoor nut flush draw. When it checks to me, I decide to take a stab here, bet 55, and everyone folds, so we take it down. I play another orbit or 2 after that queen's hand, don't really get much to play, and about to hit my 4-hour mark, so I decide to rack up.
It's Wayne back here with you. So just finished up, and similar to the last session, this session started out pretty slow. Table was pretty rough actually, but then we did get a couple action players, pick things up a little bit. Early on, I got into a couple hands, won a couple small pots. Then I got into the one with the ace 10, 9, 7. I ended up c-betting on a queen 7, 4. He ended up pushing for 135 more, and I made the call. I didn't really know what the correct odds were. It was just kind of a weird stack size. I didn't realize when I c-bet that he had, such a short stack, but I ended up calling, hitting a runner flush, so I took that one down. And then a little bit later on, I ended up getting the ace, ace, king, king hand. So I posed the question earlier, ace, ace, king, king, rainbow against ace, ace, king, jack, single suited. What are the odds that we're going to chop? And the correct answer is 77%. I had to look that up as well. It was kind of a unique hand. So, we obviously ended up getting it all in. I ended up hitting pretty much the only card I can hit to win, the case king. So that was pretty cool. And then shortly after that, had the ace 997, flopped the nut flush draw and straight draw, got it all in against a set, and unfortunately couldn't improve. And then ended up winning a small pot there at the end with the queens. So all in all, it was a pretty good table. I didn't get into a lot of hands. I think I played pretty patient in some. I had the aces earlier and didn't end up betting against quad kings. So I think I played pretty well. I was in for 400, out for 700, so a profit of 300. If you guys enjoyed it, please hit the like and subscribe button. If your viewing experience could have been better, please let me know how down in the comments below, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care.